Andrew Benintendi. It's from Greg Joyce tweeting this out. Still staying at the Royals Team Hotel in New York.
It's a nice hotel. I wouldn't mind staying there. It's okay.
He doesn't have an apartment in Queens yet, so
I wonder if he took the team bus today.
With his guys,
the team bus.
You can't do that. They got in last night. Manager Mike Matheny came to his hotel room to tell him he'd been traded. He'll face his old teammates tonight. That's funny. So he's already checked in, right? Well,
I mean, he's going to need a hotel room anyway.
That's right. Look, he's going to stay in a hotel for the rest of the season, probably.
Yep.
That's,
that's interesting. So, again, for the players now, as we get to the trade deadline, it's August 2nd, 6 p.m. That's a new time. Jake, you've been traded 3 times. You've been traded how many times?
I got traded 3 times, too. Yeah,
3 times, okay.
not the kind of deals he was trading in, though. I was a throw-in on one of them. Like,
the big trade deadline deals. Exactly. What is it like to go through that as a person, given that you're set and you're with your club and you're living that lifestyle? We look at it as, oh, good, he's joining this team. What are the actual effects on the human being?
Well, you see, this is a unique situation with Benintendi being able to go with his team and get there. But he's in New York the night after he found out he was traded. It's a very fast thing. Yep. You're in Boston one day and they say, hey, Jake, you're flying to San Francisco and you're pitching for the San Francisco Giants on Sunday. So it's a very tough thing. You have to say goodbye to so many people you love. You have families, friends. You have home and all your stuff in a place, and you have to get to another place, immediately get comfortable, and do what they expect you to do and why they traded for you. So there's a lot of moving parts, and it always doesn't go seamlessly as we would like to think.
You know, I know a lot of players that say they have their places in Arizona or Florida, so you're kind of living and working in the country, right? You're in spring training mode. Or how many times have you actually had a home in a place where, like, hey, I got a house, I got to sell the house, I got kids in school, how often does that happen to you?
Well, in San Diego, I was set up, life there, and had my kids, my family, all in school. And look, I was hurt for the season, done for the year in 2009, taking a nap, not even with the team on trade deadline day. Had talked to Kenny Williams and the White Sox earlier, knew that I was probably going to have to be moved that winter with ownership change in San Diego. And I got woken up. Barry Axelrod woke me up out of a nap and said, look, Kenny Williams and the White Sox want to talk to you. I got on the phone with Kenny and those guys about an hour before the deadline was over.
Wow.
Want you for the next 3 years. And when somebody wants you and they express that, you want to go to where you feel like you're wanted. I was happy to become a Chicago White Sox that day and moved on from there to Boston and then there to San Francisco.
That's an awesome feeling. Wanted, that's the biggest thing. Like when you get traded, I feel like there's a part of you that's, wait, what? There's like that little kid in you that's like, wait, you didn't want me, but you guys do? Okay. It's like it gives you a new energy, a new life. You get to that new club and you have a different respect for the game again and new energy again. Not that you needed that necessarily, that adrenaline shot, but it gives it to you, and it can really help a lot of guys in some situations. We've seen that. We've seen guys get traded, midway through their career, and all of a sudden they go off and have a complete second half of the career that didn't resemble what they did in their first half. It can be a great thing, but to your point, the family and everything else that can go on at home, the things you have to deal with when you do get traded, it's a tough thing to go through.
It's one thing if you're a right fielder or something like that, but a catcher and a pitcher, how different is that, and how difficult is it to actually get in with a new system?
Yeah, learning a whole new staff. That's an interesting one because I got to get on their page. Like I'm trying to learn these pitchers. I'll get in, I'll watch film, I'll look up their numbers. But really, it's about talking to them. It's about finding out. Okay. What do you like to go to in these situations? What are your high pressure moments? Like, what would you consider your third, fourth pitch? I'm not going to go to that in the high pressure situations. What are your pitches you go to, and when you need a ground ball, when you need, when you're looking for the double play? A lot of things I'm just gonna bring up in conversation and try to do it naturally. I don't want to just bombard them with things, but try to do it naturally. And then of course, there's always going to be learning in the game too, right? Like there's going to be some shaking off. There's going to be some trying to learn the guy as I'm going through it just naturally. And it's a tough balance to find, and it's a tough way to really get thrown into the fire, if you will.
Well, I had a great experience. I went from San Diego, I went over to Chicago, A.J. Brzezinski. It took me and him some time, and I don't know if we ever quite got on the same page, but we love to compete together nonetheless. And then I went from there to Boston. You see big A.J. right there, and Chicago. Southside was a fun place to compete for sure. And then going to Boston, went over to Saltalamacchia and David Ross. This was on my grandmother Damon Lolly's birthday, very special. Give up a solo home run to Paul Goldschmidt, but get to win here. And then went out to arguably one of the best players to ever play catcher position, Buster Posey. Got to make a Sunday night debut against those beloved Dodgers in San Francisco, and End up losing on some unearned runs here, Rec, but we went on a great run there in San Francisco, and both of those last two places traded to win a title. Yeah. But I'll say another thing, though. The toughest thing for me was not the catcher situation, the coaches, BK. These coaches that you've spent time with that know you, help you prepare, you've thrown every side session and you've prepped for every game. Benintendi tonight is going to have new coaches in his ear. Don't know his swing, that haven't been studying him. And so all the language and just the way, there's just a lot that goes into this that a lot of people may not think about that it could make this thing swing for the best or for not so best.
Is there a wide variance in catcher? Because look, at catching, there's a lot of things going on. There's calling the game, there's framing, there's being quiet and soft and getting the strikes that you need. How wide is that variance? Meaning, are you sometimes saying, "Wow, this guy's great," or "Oh my God, this guy's not great at this"? You know what I'm saying? You know, this guy's not good at this.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, it's huge. And again, we're going to go back to this chemistry word, but you develop a rapport. A pitcher-catcher relationship is like a marriage, and the more you spend time in it. I was talking about Scherzer and him. He's so comfortable in his skin and under control, and you see just how much of command he's in. When you spend time in catcher-pitcher, it becomes like a marriage. You can fight, like I said with A.J. Brzezinski. Me and him fought, like brother and like brothers, but we were also married at the hip, trying to win a Major League Baseball game together.
It doesn't sound like A.J. so easygoing. Not prickly at all, A.J.